So here it is, the next video. Okay, Diary of the Griever named John Weaver, which is me, and Diary of a Griever named John Weaver, which is me. Time index right now is about 12:37 in the afternoon of Saturday, the 14th of March 2026. So we're talking about my heart situation here. And I was talking about earlier in the video about grieving, heart, and death and stuff like that, and pastors and preachers and evangelicals. My family had been traveling from one place to another place for church. I can show you on Google Maps a couple of places that my family had been to and how much they had been much of a pain in the ass or something else. I'm getting away from a hospital that I used to be taking care of because of the heart situation, as I explained before in the previous video. Where I'm going back is North Hollywood again. I'm going back over to Van Owen and Coldwater, near the area. Or at least Van Owen and Ethel, anyway. And there may have been a couple other places I don't remember, but there was one church that I stayed at for a short time trying to get spirituality and never could feel it. Never could be part of that community. Trying to get close to the 101 freeway, where everything else seems to be Robert. No, I'm still in central Los Angeles. No! I want to go back to the San Fernando Valley. Here we go. There we go. Back to the San Fernando Valley. Which we are going over to, let's see. Okay. Way below Sherman Way and on the street of Van Owen. Where there was a cross street of Coldwater Canyon, but also Woodman I'm trying to get past. Yeah, the aqueduct, California aqueduct. No, it's not the aqueduct. It's it's one of the channels we got going over to the ocean, delivering ocean water, or used water anyway. The wash, they called it. Okay, Coldwater Canyon and Van Owen, and you'll see Madison Junior High, or middle school they call it, right above it. Apartment complexes line from Fulton Avenue all the way towards Coldwater Canyon. But in that area, right along Ethel, was a Baptist church. Still is. Well, Catholic church. Well, a long time ago it was a Baptist church. And they were trying to teach us the story of the Bible, but fire and brimstone had to scare the crap out of us. My family couldn't deal with that one. We stayed there for a short time, but I really didn't feel the spirituality. I didn't feel part of a community. I didn't feel God. Just not in that environment anyway. Okay, so let's head over to the 170 freeway, the Hollywood freeway, shall we? It's on the east side of it, which is the left side on the map. You'll see the freeway. Right above it is the 5 interchange, well above. But we're just dealing with the 170 Hollywood freeway going southwards. You'll see major parks and schools and stuff right along it. Just keep following it. It used to be a different neighborhood so many years ago. If you guys have Google Earth, then I would ask that you would check out the San Fernando Valley, at least up to the earliest portion if you can, like 1985 or 1990. You would see some of the changes. Black and white, maybe not so much clearer, but that was the territory I lived in. 1985, I was about 19 years old during that time. And graduated from John F. Kennedy High School of Granada Hills. Go Cougars. Okay, so the 70 freeway kind of bends to the right, bends to the east, and just kind of makes a little sticky. And while it's going southwards, you just see how the neighborhoods are. Compact, changing, mutating. Different stores, different shopping centers disappeared, crumbled into dust. This whole place is compacted. It's gotten worse and worse concerning about trying to find a place to live in this area. If people were lucky enough to live in there for years at a time, and they stayed in their places, well, Some people had to move out like me did, me and my family, back in '05 to the Antelope Valley, to the Wedge. But this is the San Fernando Valley. I called it the Bowl. So right along the 170 freeway, you see a bunch of homes and shopping centers changed, and other areas that got mutilated, plowed under, and changed into some other things that I don't even recognize anymore. I've been away from the valley for over 20 years, so there's been changes, and still on a constant basis. But there's one place I'm looking for right now. That was a church that was trying to save my immortal soul and trying to give the family spiritual comfort. And it is called the First United Methodist Church of North Hollywood. It's got a red building. It's got a red tiled roof, angular. So they're. You ever seen the movie Ben-Hur with the 1956 movie? Charlton Heston in it. And you see the tiles. When you get closer to this one, and it's right across the street from a park that's getting into itself into a wedge right along the 170 freeway. It's comes to Riverside Drive, which is east to west, and Tahunga. Some people call it Tajunga, but it is Tahunga. That's how it is pronounced. And it's in that corner. If you happen to have a cross icon popping up, hello. They've changed the format a little bit on the outsides, but most of it is still practically over 100 years old. They just added some stuff to it. Kind of close up on the shop viewpoint here. And yes, the neighborhood has changed a great deal in it over the past 30, 40 years. I'm talking about on the corner to be a gas station and maybe an apartment complex, but it's changed a great deal in that area. More of an open mall, somewhat. But this is the place that my family went for church. If you're familiar with North Hollywood or familiar with the 170 freeway that you keep going up and down, and at least if you're going northbound on the 170 freeway, you would see it. Right after you get past the Ventura Freeway is the 170 Hollywood. And on the right hand side, you would see the tower. For some of those who actually can use the Google Maps at this point, if you click outside of it, maybe across the street, it'll pop up a street view. And you can click on that. And you would see the on-ramp to the northbound 170 freeway. Now if you hold on to it with your mouse, with your left button on the mouse, and you're maneuvering it to the right, you'll see the screen changing to the left. That's maybe a couple of years old picture, but October 2025, not couple. But you would see the changes in the area. But then you would come across to the old building with a damn great with a RV in the front of it. But that's the place I grew up under. First United Methodist Church of North Hollywood. It has survived a great deal in the area, including an earthquake that we actually had back in 1994. I think God must love this place. I've had some good pastors that tried to teach me about the Bible, spirituality, but these guys had never experienced death before. Or probably someone who hadn't gone through the process as a young kid, and they're still trying to tell me what it was all about. The problem is, I couldn't explain it to me as much as I could, but I tried. These guys just didn't understand it. Couldn't understand it. because this was home. This was home. There are pictures of it online of what it looks like on the inside and what the campus currently looks like. Yeah, maybe a little bit older pictures of some of the people who used to be the pastors over there. There was one. Actually, there was a couple of them. Pastor Joey, Pastor John, Pastor Bob. In their own time periods, they were crucial. I've had memories of my family going to this place for many years. I've had two elderly ladies who made quite a impact on some of those people over there a long time ago. A lot of the old people that I knew already passed away. I've got a cookbook in a directory somewhere that has pictures of them. If I can find it, maybe I gotta post the thing. They also had a cookbook. A lot of recipes my family would use all the time. But you talk about pastors and churches and ministries that make a difference. Well, a local one that you grew up with, if you feel a connection to the congregation, is one thing. I was trying to get a connection to God, and I couldn't even feel it. No matter how many times I kept praying to the guy as a kid, I didn't feel him. I know what the experience was like. I know what the intense emotions were like. I know what my spirit would be singing. But it was quiet. But I heard the pastors talk, and there was people around, and I grew up under that kind of environment, but I wanted more. I wanted to talk to God. And my family kept going to the church every so often throughout our years. Until I was no longer able to do it and things had changed. We stopped going. Eventually we moved out of the area into the Antelope Valley. There had been no churches that my brother and I could actually feel that we were trying to get to the meeting and mood of it, but we tried a couple of times. Tried to do a Methodist church or tried to do another evangelical. We tried a few evangelicals in the San Fernando Valley. We just couldn't get into it. My brother could try getting into it. I mean, he was trying so far, so desperately. I don't know if he felt God or not, but he didn't act like it sometimes. But he said he had a good time at the churches, and I'm like, okay, well, great for him. I still didn't feel it. There had been one time when I got into a community church that I actually tried to pray other than about myself, about an aunt of mine who went into the hospital with heart conditions, and I was afraid she was going to die, and I was going to put everything else of mine on the line and say, God, you still want my soul? Here it is. Jesus, you want me? Here I am. And for a long time, I missed that. I did. I wanted so much to be part of that energy field again. I'm going into an area called Arleta, California. It's up northern portion of the San Fernando Valley, right by the 5 freeway. I've been into an area of Beachy and Wingo. It's right by Osborne. Do you guys know the territory? I went to Canterbury Elementary School during that time. And it was home. There was a wash that ran through the area, and I lived on the other side of that wash. It was a church that I went to. Wingo and Beachy. Right above us was Osborne. And Beachy was cutting right into it. Wingo was the street I lived on, and it was, at the time, we had about an acre of, or half an acre of backyard for horses to run through or run on. And across the street there was a community church still there on Wingo and Beachy. Right above us was a Jewish synagogue. I always kept passing by that place. Never visited it. Wish I had. I would have been so. But the community church was about the community. And it was in that area that one particular summer that I gave my soul to Jesus. I was saying, Jesus, please, you want me? Here I am. Please save my aunt. I can't tell you what kind of a feeling it was that makes you can't breathe, because you're filled with energy that you've never identified before. Actually, I had identified when I was dead. And feelings and thoughts, comfort, peace, love, all of it suffocating me. And in that moment, I recognized it. It was like somebody was watching over me. I was all right with it. I felt I was going to be okay. Aunt May, at the time, was going to be okay for that moment. That's all I needed was for that moment, because I missed my friend. She was my best friend. I didn't realize it at the time. As I realized it as an adult, she was going through a grieving process, heavily. She had already lost her husband, tried to live with her sister, my grandmother, and now lived with me, my brother, and my mother at the time. This was back in the 70s. We'll do a third video on this one, guys.